Hey there and welcome to No Recipe Required. Chicken dishes, we all are eating chicken dishes all the time. I've got one here that's I think is very cool. I think it's very tasty. I hope you think it's very tasty. What we're going to do is actually stuff the chicken breast with a little bit of chorizo and spinach. We cook the chorizo off a little bit, combine it with the cooked spinach, and then we stuff the chicken. We make a little hole in the chicken, stuff it in there, cook it. It's a great way to add a bunch of flavor to the chicken, and obviously I love it, or I wouldn't be showing it to you. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and start making our chorizo and cheese and spinach stuffing. Now, for this stuffing, chorizo kind of comes in all shapes and sizes. This is kind of the sausage version, and I'm just going to cook it up on low heat, and it's kind of break up into little grainy pieces, kind of like the way ground beef might. There are chorizos out there that are more like salami. This is not that for this particular preparation. This is only going to take 2 or 3 minutes to kind of cook down, and then we'll come back and add our spinach. Okay, once our chorizo is just cooked down a little bit, I'm going to add just a handful of spinach, and I'm going to let that spinach cook down with I'm not going to add any salt because the chorizo is fairly salty, but I will hit it with just a little pepper. And the spinach is going to wilt down again in probably 2 minutes, and this is going to form half of our stuffing. Okay, when the spinach is cooked down, this is what it looks like. It's really kind of wilted down there. The chorizo is obviously nicely brown. I'm going to take it off the heat and then just throw it into a little bowl to cool down a little bit. Once it cools, we'll come back and add our manchego cheese, and then we'll have our stuffing for our Spanish stuffed chicken breast. Okay, so here is our spinach and chorizo. I've got it in a little bowl here. Let it cool down for a few minutes so that we don't melt our cheese. If you taste it, it should taste good. Could use not a lot more salt, touch more salt, definitely a little more pepper. But then we've got our cheese. I'm using manchego cheese, which is also Spanish. Spanish chorizo, Spanish cheese, all goes together nicely. And then just mix it. Mix this together, and that's going to form our stuffing for our chicken breast. Okay, for our Spanish style chicken stuffed with spinach, chorizo, manchego, we need to show you how to stuff a chicken breast. Easiest thing to do. So I've got chicken breast, kind of the smooth side up. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my knife and essentially go kind of halfway through in terms of high and low, right? And then I'm going to go at that angle, and then using just the tip of the blade or using my fingers, I'm going to swing the knife this way, which creates a pocket right in the middle of that chicken breast for our stuffing. Now, I'm going to start about halfway through, but I'm also going to feel, kind of the tip of the knife. I know where it is based on my fingers up top here. And as I slide around, I'm going to make sure I continue to feel that tip. And that's going to keep me from going too low or too high and ultimately piercing the skin on top or on the bottom. If you do happen to pierce it a little bit, not going to be a big deal. You're not going to ruin the chicken or anything like that. But it just makes a nicer presentation if all you have is this one little hole. So I went through again with the knife, and if you do it right, you can eventually just pick your hand up and then slide a finger. You can kind of clear out any pieces that are maybe still stuck there. But then you've got that nice little hole for our stuffing. So let's go ahead and stuff our chicken breast with our mixture of manchego cheese, spinach, and chorizo. To do that, you just kind of get the hole open just a little bit, and you got to kind of go a little bit at a time. Use your finger, just kind of lay some of the stuffing right there, and then just kind of push it in there. Every once in a while, kick it down towards the bottom of the chicken breast, and you're going to get, it's a little bit messy. You're going to lose a little bit falling on the cutting board, but obviously you can just pick that up and keep pressing it in there. Okay, let's go ahead and cook our stuffed chicken breasts. Now I've got a pan, like always, super hot or on high heat. Get it nice and hot. And I've got my chicken breast, which I've seasoned both sides with salt and pepper. Now, I don't know if you notice, but right here on one, I had a bit of a blowout, but that's perfectly fine. Your knife just went through. What I'm going to do is lay that side down first. And what's essentially going to happen is the pieces right around that hole, as it heats and as it cooks, will contract and it'll help close that hole. And then any cheese that's in there as well, it's going to sear against the pan and kind of prevent leaking as well. If I start on the other side, it's more likely get melting in the middle and then kind of oozing out. So you got a hole, start cooking on that side. This is going to go for about 5 minutes. Then we're going to flip it over, finish it in a 350-375 degree oven. Okay, it's been about 3 or 4 minutes, so we'll give our chicken a little check. Now I can see around the edges the white, opaque, done part of the chicken is starting to creep up, so that's a good indicator that we are ready to flip. So let me just, if I can grab the thing, we'll flip it over, and that's exactly what we're looking for, nice brown crust. Flip this one over as well. And you can see that's where our, like I said, blowout was. Nothing really leaked out, didn't fall apart on us or anything like that. We're going to let it go on this side now for about another 3 minutes or so. We want to get that same color and crystallization on that side of the pan. And then because the breasts, stuff like this are so thick, I like to finish it off in the oven. So I've got my oven preheated to 375, and I'm just going to move the whole pan in the oven after about 3 minutes and let it go for maybe another 5 or so, and then I'll be pretty sure that the chicken is done. If you need to, you can go ahead and use a thermometer, but with a little bit of practice, you'll be able to tell just by feel. Okay, I just pulled my chicken out of the oven. Again, that feel test, I know it's done. If you need to use a thermometer, you absolutely can. I'm going to go ahead and remove these to a cutting board just to let them rest while we make our sauce. Okay, so I've got our chicken pan on the grill. There's not much fat there, so I'm just going to leave it. We're just going to do a simple brown butter, lemon, and caper sauce. So for that, I'm going to add my butter, probably about a tablespoon there. And I'm actually going to grab a wooden spoon to make the job a little bit easier. And just immediately, that butter is going to start browning. It's also going to start letting the, the bits and pieces come up off the pan. I'm going to turn my heat down to low and just kind of keep scraping together there. Now this sauce, it's super rich, super flavorful. So, despite it being largely butter, we're not going to use a whole lot of it. So don't feel too bad about it. I've got a tablespoon of capers there. I'm going to add those, and then I'm going to give it just a good squeeze of fresh lime juice. We're going to take the heat off, and we have our sauce. Okay, so let's go ahead and serve up our chorizo stuffed chicken breast. You can see, you fan it out a little bit, you get that beautiful stuffing melted right in the middle. I'm serving mine with a little bit of pea and rice. And then we've got our lemon brown butter caper sauce, which you can just kind of drizzle right around the edges. It's been a pleasure cooking this meal for you, and I will see you next time on No Recipe Required.